Hey everybody, welcome back to GWN. I am Noctary, your host. So today we are looking at sneak peek number 4 in the series of sneak peeks. This is the last official sneak peek for the Clashmas December holiday update for Clash of Clans. And we have the Ice Golem, a new dark troop for Town Hall 11 and 12. You get levels 1, 2, and 3 at Town Hall 11, and then level 4 at Town Hall 12. Let's do the upgrade real quick here. It is a grand total of 8 million elixir. And since we're on the dev build here, I'm just going to use a hammer. See no reason not to knock it out real quick here. And we'll go ahead and do that now. Hammer, 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 kaboom. There it is, our level 8 Dark Barracks. The level 1 gives you a 4-second free spell at the time he's destroyed. And level 4 gives you 6¼ seconds. The Ice Golem only targets defenses, and he takes up 15 troop units in housing space. So that's roughly half of a regular golem. Take a look at what he will not touch, as we have in the past. Any elixir or gold or dark elixir collectors and storages. Obviously not going to touch the town hall in its inactive state, and going to walk right by that clan castle as well. So only going for defenses. That means non-defenses ain't going to touch them. But as we have stated in others, if you activate the Giga Tesla inside of the town hall, it is now a defense, and lo and behold, they like that. And I got 18 I dropped on it. Even with 18 of them, though, it takes it a little while to kind of chew through that town hall. And this is what kind of got me thinking. I've been playing around with this troop now for a couple of weeks on the dev build. And I hate to say it. I want to love this troop, but I just can't. And it's good as a support troop, but all by itself, it doesn't do the trick. So what I started doing was using it inside of a clan castle, and you'll see that here in the next couple of hits. I bring in a wall wrecker, and I drop 2 of them, 2 ice golems and 2 giants, to see how long does it take them to chew through a couple of common defenses that I might find in a hub if I sent the wall wrecker or a blimp or even the new siege, the stone slammer into the middle. And they don't do too bad. Typically takes anywhere from, we'll call it 15 to 30 seconds for it to chew through with, again, the 2 giants and the 2 ice golems in the CC. So, yeah, does okay. Tried it against the Eagle artillery. Takes a little bit longer for the same troops to break it down, closer to about 30 seconds. When it's going against it, just the troop by itself, typically you need 3 or 4 of them to take down one of these regular, we'll call them major defenses, if you will. Things like, for example, the X-bows and the Inferno Tower, the Eagle Artillery, things like that, the big bads, the things that makes everybody quake in their boots. So you're not likely going to be using these in a leading man role as a protagonist in your armies, in your attack strategies. They're going to be more of a support troop. Next one, obviously, we got the X-bow here. Wanted to see what kind of damage does he take from something like an X-bow, because obviously it's kind of a tanker, right? I mean, that's one of the things any golem should be able to do is tank, and it does all right. It does okay. Not as strong as the standard golem is. About half the hit points and half the DPS, but it does do well enough that I think that if you can get them into the center of the base, like I said in the wall wrecker or the blimp or the stone slammer, I think they'll do a decent amount of damage, enough to make them worthwhile at least. So that's kind of where I started to lean on the usage of the Ice Golem. And I did play around a little bit with Go Weeva, and it didn't work. It just didn't work. Taking a look at the death box, 3 maxed Inferno Towers, and of course a maxed Eagle Artillery. This is when I noticed another issue, and that is how long it takes for them to get through the walls. There's 18 of them beating on those level 13 walls, and it's taken them a while to get through it. Now imagine if you only had 1 or 2 or 3. That's way too long for these troops. So they definitely need something to break them into wherever they're going to be hitting. So whether you use a wall breaker, or during a siege machine that breaks through the walls or flies over the walls and drops them, a jump spell, whatever, you're going to have to send them in with something that gets them past the walls, because if they get hung up on a wall, it's all over with. The defenses are just going to take them down slowly but surely. And you can see how these single stream Inferno towers do a pretty fair number, at least I think, on the Ice Golems as well. So, considering that, I started to wonder what's going to be a realistic hit in time for these guys on the walls. I wanted to start looking at how long is it going to take them to get into a base if something happens and they're not delivered into the base. So we're going to speed this one up, get these guys through here real fast. The next test that I put together is what I call the box test. And in the box test, I set up one of each set of walls, each level of walls in a sequence, and I just put one of the new troop into it to see how it does. And this one took the full 3 minutes. Obviously, I'll speed it up to 4 times here in a minute or so, minute and a half or so. You can see it gets through the level 1 wall pretty quickly, only about 15 seconds there. Level 2 wall takes 5 or 6 seconds more, and it kind of cascades up at that point, roughly that 5 to 10 second span as each one of them hits it. They'll break through the wall. The real surprise, though, was how long it takes for one of them to get through the higher level walls, level 13, 12, and 11, even level 10 for that matter. We're going to make it all the way to the end of the 3 minutes and not be through those walls. So more and more, I'm just not seeing this troop as a regular offense type of troop. It just doesn't fit well for that function. As a tank, it's okay. It's not something that I would send in place of a regular golem, simply because it doesn't have as much hit points or DPS. The regular golems are able to do a lot more tanking for my troops, like for example in my Go Weavas that I like to do. Likewise, the free spell is nice, but looking at it from a tanking perspective, I really want those golemites. So, limited tanking. Definitely limited tanking. More of a, I'm going to call it a distractor. It's really good at distracting defenses away from your offense so that it can get to that particular defense. And when it does pop, obviously that free spell is going to take those defenses out of commission for as much as 6.25 seconds, which is a long time in a 2 to 3 minute attack. I mean, that's a lot of time that you win there. Let's take a look at a couple of replays here at Town Hall 12. And I got a Town Hall 6 and a Town Hall 8 replay later. I'm just going to open this base up, and I'm going to drop the full Monty here of these Ice Golems. I just want to see how they can do, you know? How much damage will they do? How much will they sustain? How can they work through the base? And what's going to happen when they really come under the heavy fire? As you can see, they're getting hit by all 3 of those Expos, and of course the single stream Inferno tower that's right there. So they start to work their way through, and they do a little ring around the rosies there with a tornado trap. But as they pop, take a look at that radius of the free spell. It's bigger than the regular free spell, and it does do a pretty good job of slowing things down. When they finally do make it into the core, they're gonna freeze and slow the core down enough for the Archer Queen and the Grand Warden to kind of work their way in and take out the Town Hall. And that's good. That's not bad at all, and I think that's exactly what we're going to want to see from putting them into a siege machine and sending them into the middle. But not enough juice to really do a whole lot of damage. I mean, we walk away with, what, 36% damage, and the Town Hall off of an attack like that. I would have expected a little bit more. Same thing on this one. A little bit different of a base. It's more of an anti-3 type of base. Gonna open it up. I figure open a big path right down the middle. We'll see where it goes. And we'll drop the heroes, and then the giants, and then we'll send in those ice golems, kind of spread them out and see where they go. And what you're going to see is pretty much the same thing that you saw in the last attack. So, as I said, it is not a leading man kind of troop. This will not be the focus point in your armies. It will be in a support role. And that support role will be more, I think, more geared towards sending them in a siege machine so that they can work their way into whatever becomes the core and freeze it when they pop. Now, if your troops are coming in from right behind it and they attack the town hall, then when one of these things goes boom, that Giga Tesla is going to freeze. That is useful. So you can see here, they're attracting the Giga Tesla. One of them goes, Giga Tesla stops, it gets frozen. That's not bad. So maybe, I'm going to say 2 or 3 of them is what you're going to want to use in an attack when you're doing it. Definitely not more than that. And as has happened here, they're about to get hung up on a wall down there at the bottom, and that's all she wrote. The attack will be over with roughly the same thing. Now the next question, the thing a lot of people have been talking about is, okay, so this troop is only 15 housing space. 15 housing space means that anyone with a Town Hall 4 or higher that's upgraded their clan castle is going to be able to hold at least one of these. And Town Hall 9, which can hold 30 troop units in its upgraded clan castle, as well as 10 at 35 and so forth, they're going to be able to hold 2 of them. So what does that mean for defense? And of course, what does that mean at the lower town halls for their offense as well? We'll take a look at a Town Hall 8 first. And in this case, I just did a standard Go Weeva at Town Hall 8, and I put one in the clan castle. So we've got a baby dragon and an ice golem in the clan castle. We'll come from the north of the base here, and as soon as we get them into the right spot, we'll drop 2 poisons and let those wizards go in and work on the troops. Now, once the ice golem pops, everything stops, and it's taking fire. They're all taking fire, but because my golems were up front, they took the brunt of it, and that's why this attack still ends up being successful. So I think as long as your deployment is sound, the fact that there's an ice golem in the clan castle is not going to stop you, especially if you can get them out of there early on in the attack. Now, later on in an attack, like say if I come from the bottom rather than the top of this base, yeah, I could see the ice golem being a problem. And the reason for that is because when you start to get down toward the end of an attack, your troops are a little more spread out, especially if you've got a tanking troop like a golem here. They're not necessarily where you want them to be when that clan castle gets pulled. So a little bit later in the attack, it could have a lot more impact, and that's going to make it a worthwhile troop to put in there. But at Town Hall 9, which is when you can put 2 of them in, you're looking more at air attacks. So I don't think Town Hall 9 is the place to put these. Town Hall 10, maybe. Town Hall 11, probably not. Town Hall 12, no, I don't think so. Town Hall 8, I like this combination. I really do. And there's a number of base designs out there where I think it'll work really well. 7 is all dragons. Town Hall 8 early is all dragons, so neither one of those should have this. Town Hall 6, which is the next one that I've got, as well as Town Hall 5 and 4 for those of you that maybe have some early players. I think it's a decent troop, but when you start to have more ground-based attacks, you're probably looking at Valkyries as a better thing to have in there because of the straight-up damage they can do. They're probably a better troop. Let's take a quick look here at a Town Hall 6 game, and we'll run a quick attack on this. And this time I'm going to put an ice golem on both sides in the clan castle. We're just going to go with one of my Heggy Whizzes and healers and giants and wizards. We'll drop a couple of wall breakers to open the base up. You can see that ice golem down there not doing a whole lot. And when it pops, yeah, it stops the troops, but not a whole lot of movement from the defenses, because there's just not a whole lot of defenses there on Town Hall 6. So I think limited impact. Now, the Ice Golem that was in the Clan Castle on the offensive side, he's actually doing a pretty good job of taking some hits. Between that and the healers, the Giants really aren't going down. And this is a good, easy 3-star. Now, is that because the Ice Golem? I don't know. This attack strategy, I use this starting at Town Hall 6, and it really works well against just about every kind of base. I even use it for farming in Town Hall 7, 8, and 9, so I think I'd have to play with it a little bit more down at the lower levels. And I'm in a war right now this weekend with a couple of low-level games, 7s and 8s, that don't have things like dragons, so I might give this a bit of a spin without the Ice Golem this weekend, just to see how they hold up this Hegiwiz in the lower town halls. But with the Ice Golem, I won't be able to try that more until CWLs, which we'll see. We'll see what it comes out to be. So a little bit longer today, but I really wanted to do a deep dive into this troop. Thanks a lot for sticking around to the end of the video. If you got comments or questions, drop them down below. I'll be coming back to you with more content over the course of next week with these new changes that we're getting. And hope you all enjoyed it. I'll talk at you later. Keep on clashing. Bye-bye now.